Hi friends. Well, today I thought instead of giving you my daily vlog of what's going on here in the desert, since the desert is alive with YouTubers all talking about their campfires and their rides in the dusty desert, that I would, since the name of my channel is JC Travel Stories, that I would tell you a travel story. And it is a travel story, but it's not a recent one. It's a travel story about Arizona. Some years ago, another couple and Lynn and I used to travel around the United States going what we referred to as antiquing. And each of us collected something different. The lady collected bells, very beautiful bells, and she had hundreds of them. And our friend collected Liberty bells, and he had a rule: if it doesn't have a crack, put it back. And Lynn collected a number of things, and I collected antique padlocks, and I have over 1,000 of them. I still have them. They're in 5-gallon buckets, all organized according to type, and a couple of suitcases in addition to the five-gallon buckets full of iron. And when we moved to Mexico nearly 20 years ago, I stored them in my daughter's garage, and since then my son-in-law and she have moved maybe 4 or 5 times in 20 years. And it's a lot of weight in 5-gallon buckets full of iron or brass. Anyway, I keep telling him that that's his inheritance, but he doesn't think it's very funny. Anyway, we were antiquing, and we decided we would come down to Arizona because we had heard that Prescott was a great place to look for antiques. And we flew down to Las Vegas and rented a car and drove on down here into Arizona. And I had read some articles by a reporter from the Arizona Sun newspaper about tourist things to do in Arizona, and he had made 2 articles, one about a northern loop in Arizona that included the Grand Canyon and Flagstaff and that stuff, and another one, I believe it was the southern loop in Arizona, and it included a few paragraphs about a guy named Les, who was the mayor of Nothing, Arizona. Now, Nothing, Arizona actually was a town, but somebody I was telling this story to the other day had said, well, I think I've driven through there. And I say that, well, driving through Nothing, Arizona would be an exaggeration. You can't drive through it. You can only drive past it because it's only on one side of the road. Anyway, this is between Wickiup and Wickenburg on Highway 93 in Arizona. And we were on our way down, making a loop and back up to Prescott. And we stopped to meet Les, who had been referred to in the articles by the reporter from the Arizona Sun. So we stopped in there, and let me describe the whole city of Nothing, Arizona. As you drive down Highway 93, you suddenly see a haystack-sized pile of old iron things, farm machinery and pieces of cars and whatever. And behind that is what used to be a gas station, but the pumps are long since gone. And the small building, about the size of my RV here, had an open door. And beside that building was a 20-foot travel trailer. And then another, looked like it might have been a garage for a couple of Model A's over a little farther away. And we stopped, walked in the front door, and sitting there in an overstuffed chair that looked like the stuffing was coming out everywhere because a dog had chewed it up or something, sat a very old man. and he introduced himself as Les, the mayor of nothing. And so you turn the corner right there, just 2 feet from his knees, and go here, and there's a glass case full of meteorites. And he explained, I've gotten a text message. Do you hear that choo-choo train back there? I have to go check the text message or it will keep choo-chooing. I'll be right back.
Please enjoy my stories or whatever else might be on my mind today.
I'm back. Our little circle of friends here is arranging a chicken fajita taco dinner, but that's not part of the story today. Where was I? So we have just met Les, the mayor of nothing, and he is explaining that the meteorites that I see in the glass case to my right are things that he has collected all over the desert. He's got this thing that's got a bunch of magnets on it, and he drags it around in the desert, and he picks up meteorites. So he's got quite the collection of meteorites. But let me finish describing the scene. The old gas station, where there are no longer pumps, but you can see the bases where they used to be, and it's kind of a boardwalk thing between the pumps and the main part of the building station. Used to be a station. And on the side of the building, there's a sign that says, Nothing, Arizona, population 4. So I asked Les, I said, Les, I see you, and there was a lady there. I assumed her being about the same age that it was his wife. I said, I see you and the missus there, but where's the other 2 people? And he said, well, my other son is out there in the trailer, and my other son, he moved away to Chicago. But we haven't changed the sign because we're hoping he'll come back. So anyway, I'm kind of, I'm a Cadillac collector. I'm wanting to get into that old garage out there thinking I might find something really interesting out there. So I asked him about that, and he said, that's not my building. But let me show you something else. So he stands up, and as he's coming out of the door, he says, don't you want my picture? Apparently we're not the first tourists that have stopped by to meet Les, the mayor of nothing. So yeah, sure. Yeah, let's have a picture. So he and I are standing together, and Lynn's going to take a picture, and I start to put my arm around him like that. And just as I do, I don't know if he did this before or if it was just good timing on his part or he got lucky, but as I started putting my arm around him, he bent over and my arm just went past him, and he's bending down with his head towards the ground. He had dropped his cigarette through the wooden planks, and he was all concerned that those old gas tanks down there were going to blow up. I wasn't concerned because I've seen the Mythbusters, and that ain't going to happen. Anyway, this takes 5 minutes of screwing around with a stick and, putting the cigarette out or trying to get it out and poking it. Anyway, we got that all resolved, and he and I stood up there again. And just as I started to put my arm around again, I don't know if he's just good at this and he's done it before and he's practiced it, but his timing was perfect. Just as I went to put my arm around his shoulders, he bent down again because he had dropped his pants to his ankles. Now here's the bad news. Lynn didn't take the picture. Anyway, I'm still wanting to get into that garage, so I remind him again, hey, Les, couldn't I see what's in that garage? I collect padlocks. You got any old padlocks? He says, it's not my garage. Let me show you something else. So we walk out, and it's 150 feet out in back of the building is a nice vista of the Arizona desert out there across a gully. And he's telling me that's where he collected the meteorites. So that's what he wanted to show me, where he got the meteorites. And I see some old cars down there in the bottom of the draw. And I say, well, those are your cars down there? And he says, Well, cow, cow, pow, pow, wow, wow, they ain't my damn cars. And he turns around and stomps off back to his easy chair, and he will never talk to me again. That's the end of my first visit to Nothing, Arizona. Now, my second visit, we went there, and I wanted to see if they had ever changed the sign from population 4 to population 3, or if there more people came or more people left. Well, the fact is the whole place was boarded up, and the little 20-foot camper trailer was gone. The pile of stuff out there by the highway was all gone, and it was abandoned. And I found out later that Les, the mayor of Nothing, had passed. Thanks for watching today.
Hey, if you like me, give me one of those thumbs up. And please subscribe and hit that little bell so you know when I post next. Please share me with your friends on social media. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed what was on my mind today.